Hi Sagittarius, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. This reading is for Sagittarius Sun and Ascendant. You could also watch this reading if the person you're dealing with is a Sagittarius and you want a little bit more insight into what's going on with them and with you. Keep in mind this is a general reading. Keep in mind that the roles also could be reversed in the reading, so place yourself with honesty in all cases in the right way in the reading so that you get the most out of the messages being transmitted here. So this card represents where you are now. This is the challenge you face, the resources you can use, a lot of fire on the top line. This is what are the hidden forces. This is the potential outcome. Wow. And from the runes, I'm going to take one to give us insight on what is the spiritual lesson in your reading. All right. You have three major arcana cards in your spread all upright. You have the Strength, the Fool, and the Hermit. I love it. You also have the King of Wands, which is also a very fiery energy. There's a lot of fire energy in this spread. The whole top line. Two of Wands, King of Wands, and the Strength. Fire, fire, fire. Now, my first reaction to this spread, my first kind of gut feeling about what's going on here is that there is some kind of calling that you've received that you are not really sure about yet. You've been called. There's some kind of divine calling that's coming through here, and you're maybe not really totally ready yet to dive right in. You're still kind of weighing things up. But what I feel here is that for some of you, this might be a message for just one person, but what I'm getting here is that with the King of Wands in the reverse position there, you're being asked to really question your authenticity in the way that you are expressing currently, like how you're moving through life, the way you are transmitting or projecting your energy. Is it really 100% authentic to your true nature? That's part of what is going on here that I feel. For some of you, it could be as much about, for some people, as I said at the beginning, there's this feeling of you receiving a calling, right? For some of you, it's not that you've received a calling, but that it's you are questioning what you're doing and you're wondering if you are actually on the right path, right? And that's where the Fool and the Hermit comes into play here. It's like you may need to understand that the time has arrived here for you to actually really ask those very profound questions and spend time in your own inner landscape exploring what is actually there for you and what is needed from you to really move forward in a way that feels ultimately the most authentic and the most genuine and real for you, so that you can fulfill your potential in this lifetime. Super deep reading, Sagittarius. I wasn't expecting that. You might be questioning your own sense of self as far as, like I said, if you're not fully embodying what you need to be entirely authentic. Yeah, you might be feeling some kind of sense of some of you might be feeling a bit of phoniness in your own self, or a little bit of maybe imposter syndrome could be coming up for some people watching this. For someone watching this could also be you feeling like you're taking there's two messages here. Either you're taking too much risk or you're taking not enough risk. And that's this King of Wands and the Fool. Either you're taking too much risk or you're not taking not enough risk. And you need to decide what end of the spectrum you're on there with that one. Now, the Two of Wands in your reading is falling in the position of the spread that describes the challenge you face. So there's a few things going on here. For some people, the Two of Wands is saying that you have no idea what to do. And you need to spend time in, like I said, in that internal process of exploring the landscape that's there and seeing what really is there for you and what direction is opening up that you can authentically move forward into, that will make you feel like, okay, this is correct, this is right, I'm in alignment. For some of you, there's a feeling of lacking in inspiration and hope, which is why the Two of Wands is in reverse. For some people, you might just be feeling like you don't know where to start. And that's why the Two of Wands is in reverse as well. It's like you know you need to make some choices, but you have no idea yet. And that's, of course, very challenging. If you know you need to make changes, but you have no idea where to start, then that can feel a little frustrating. That can make you feel a little stagnant, a little irritated, a little confused, or unsure of yourself. Maybe feeling a little bit like that might also contribute to a feeling of lacking in self-confidence. So these are all the things that you're working with right now. For some of you with the Two of Wands in reverse, the challenge is feeling stuck. You might be feeling stuck where you are. You might be feeling like all those things I've talked about, like knowing that there is time. This is time to make a change and listen to or heed a calling or a message from the universe. But you might not feel enough confidence yet to actually say yes to that calling or take that first step of action in the direction of what you feel is really authentic and real for you. Now, for some people, this is a little bit of a twist on this. There's a plot twist here. For some of you, you might have already moved forward, jumped into something that feels like a calling, but you might have tried to skip a few steps. That's what I feel here. With the King of Wands in reverse, there could be like an overabundance of confidence here. And you might be trying to be further along the path than you actually really are, because in your mind, you kind of know where you want to get to. But in the reality of the mundane world, which is governed by the nature of time and the reality of having experiences which help us grow in knowledge and wisdom, you might have just tried to skip ahead a few steps because you read a couple of books and you think you can just manage it, right? But there could be a need here for someone watching to actually take their time and just pump the brakes a little bit, chill out, develop a little bit more humility here, and actually just progress forward in a way that is genuine, humble, and slower moving. Something impatient about the King of Wands there. Need to be a little bit more slow moving and take more time to actually really embody the energy that you're moving into, and not just skip ahead because you want to be in a certain space or you see yourself in a certain space, but you're actually not necessarily there yet in terms of the practical elements of the developing those skills or developing yourself. Okay? In that regard, for someone watching, maybe not everyone, it's not for everyone, this could be a little bit of a power grab, and you might just need to, again, find a way to be a little bit more humble and experience the journey one step at a time, and don't be in a rush to get to the finish point where you see yourself ultimately arriving, but actually just take your time on the path and explore every element of the experience that's available to you in the time and space that you're in that is a resonant match to your frequency. Okay, now the Strength card is here in the position of the resources you can use. Let's get it in focus. Of course, now the Strength card often comes out in a reading when a person needs to get some inspiration from the universe to understand that they are capable of undertaking the journey ahead of them. But what's going to be required is courage, again, humility. There is also a need for, again, authenticity. There is a need for physical endurance, okay, as well. There's also, what stands out to me about this card right now is the infinity symbol over the crown. So part of this process that you're in is as much about moving forward with particular goals and aspirations in the physical realm. But in order to really succeed in that way, the need for a deep and profound and real and grounded connection with your higher self, your guidance system, your spiritual entourage, I call them, your the energies that are in the non-physical realm that are guiding and supporting, that is as much of a resource for you as anything else, and maybe that's one of the most important ones here, because that's actually the core place of finding a way to move forward with authenticity, is to be really deeply connected and having a really shored up link to your higher self, because that part of you is actually the consciousness that has developed and evolved to the point which is coming from the place of unconditional love, compassion, acceptance, wisdom, and all those things. So connecting into that energy and working from that place is going to help you ultimately have the most profound experience and be able to move forward with the most realness. And it will help guide you. Your own consciousness can help guide you on this journey. So working with getting that connection linked in and really activated, so that you're operating from that place all of the time, is going to be your best resource to make sure that the experience moving forward from here has the best possible chance of being really successful. Now, in this position of the reading is the card for what are the hidden forces. And you have the Fool here. I love that. I love that for you in this reading. The Fool is about trust, of course. It's also about being divinely guided. So I'm seeing these cards work very closely together, as well as the Hermit. Because again, the Hermit is like doing that, being that in that process of the Hermit energy, where you're counseling with yourself, you're looking within, you're, like I said, discovering and exploring your own inner landscape. That's how you connect with the Strength card. And it's when you're in that space with that energy of really being really connected to your own psyche, your own consciousness, your own higher self, that moving into a space that the Fool offers, where you are stepping forward with fundamentally not much else besides trust, then it's really almost impossible to make a misstep. So a lot of what you're going through right now, I feel, is you learning how to, first of all, connect to your own wisdom, and to work with that wisdom to move forward with a lot of trust and from a place of raw and real instinct, to follow the guidance that you're receiving from a deep intuitive level. The Fool is also giving this energy of you starting a new cycle. I kind of said that. I feel like there's this energy here of a new path opening up, or the awareness that you want to pursue a new path or take on a new direction. Maybe because you have been feeling like what you've been doing is not necessarily totally authentic to who you are now. Maybe it was at one point. But having the Fool coming out in your reading in what is in the hidden forces, or what is what you cannot see, is talking about the beginner's mind, the opening up. So for some people, how I'm seeing this energy as well in the reading, this came out in the reading for the Scorpio as well. There's something here potentially for some of you about a new area of study that you might be moving into, a new area of life that you may not have had any interaction with or any desire for before, or even any interest in. There could be something entirely new here that's opening up for you in the form of a new path of study. For some of you, what I'm feeling also is that this energy is more about you moving into a path of maybe teaching. But like I said earlier, I feel like you might be moving towards a direction of becoming a teacher in some area. But, this is a big but, you need to understand that you're not yet a teacher, that it's about you learning how to teach first. So that's why I was saying, like, don't be in such a rush to jump to the final point on the journey when you're actually just at the beginning, and be willing to take each step along the way in a very humble and genuine and real way of just being in the energy of each step of the process without trying to jump ahead too quickly before you've actually mastered each stage along the way. So yeah, the Fool is talking about you being at the beginning. This is the beginning here. This is about opening to trust, opening to a kind of innocence as well that comes with that. Again, it's a humility. The energy of humility keeps coming up really, really over and over again in this reading. Also with the Hermit here. Now, the Hermit is in the position of the potential outcome. So, again, I feel like you're moving into a new cycle here where there's a lot of discovery available to you. There's a lot of discovery available to you. It's a time of introspection. I just noticed here, look, this is number 8 from the Major Arcana, and here's number 9. So there's a progression here, but this is about really being in your own energy. Excuse me. I feel like for some people watching this reading, there is something in this about being a little less involved in social and community activities and events. Maybe this is about like withdrawing a little bit from mundane life so you can really embody this area of study of self. I feel like I know, like, if you watch any tarot readers, so many people are talking about cutting off from this person, or cutting this person out of your life, cutting off from this. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, sometimes we need to move on from relationships and whatnot. I'm not talking about you completely cutting off from your community or from your family or from your friends. I'm talking about being really selective. That's what it comes down to. Using discernment and wisdom about how and when you socialize and interact with people so that you actually really nurture and honor the process that's happening here. For some of you people watching this, I really feel like this is a major turning point in your life where you're really feeling a deep and profound calling to a different life path. And if you don't really give the energy and the time to listen to that calling and to really explore what that is, you could end up having years go by where you're still kind of just going through the motions in whatever you decide to stay in, because you don't listen to that voice and heed that calling and honor the process of really going into this space of solitude and introspection so that you can have this awakening. You might find yourself going through the cycles of life in the years coming up where you're just going through the motions and your fulfillment is not really there because you're not paying attention to this energy that's opening up. Now let's have a look at this rune here. Again, okay, so this rune is called Manas, and it's again reiterating what I've been talking about this whole time. This is about the self. This is about you as an individual, your calling, your attitude, your expression, your awareness, your divinity, your intelligence, your ability to connect with the divine and be the very unique expression of that divine through your very specific channel. I'm also feeling an energy here with this of the reorientation of, I did already say it, but this is just a different way of expressing it. A reorientation of social organization or order that you're a part of. Friends and family. your how do I say that? The context of you, yourself, your individuation in relation to the greater whole, whether that's the small microcosm of your family network, your friends network, your social network, your work network, and then the greater whole of the larger community and the wider expression of humanity as it is, and how you're placed within that. This is part of a reorganization here. For someone watching this, you could find that if it hasn't already happened in the near time that's around this reading when you're watching it, that you could find a person coming into your life that shows up as either a teacher or a mentor. But it's going to be, I feel like it's something very unconventional. It's not like a traditional teacher-student relationship. For some people, it might not be like a long-term thing. It could be just some person that you randomly bump into, which is not random at all, actually, but is you could get a transmission of a message or some kind of piece of information, and the person who's transmitting it may or may not even be aware of the effect or the impact that the words or the message that they are giving you has on you. I hope this is making sense. But what I'm feeling is like you're going to get some kind of download or transmission or piece of information that comes through another person that has a really big impact on you and sets you off on this new course. Sorry, my throat is kind of closing up here. So I feel like that this is a long reading. Usually these readings are more like 10 or 12 minutes. This is already 20 minutes. I'm going to close it up. Sagittarius, I really hope that you've received these messages, that you hear these messages in a timely way. It's been an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye for now.